Hello, here's the blue god. Hello, 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 hello. There's the blue god, and I have I have vanilla smell on me, and that's real vanilla from the vanilla bean. Vanilla Absolute oil. It's amazing. I wish I could show you how that smells. Maybe in the future they'll be able to synthesize the smell and then show it in a video. I don't know. But if this is synthesized, it's never exactly the way it is. I buy my oils at Eden Botanicals, and they have the finest oils from all around the world. And I buy this bourbon vanilla Absolute. It's just a tiny bottle. Cost already like, how much was it? Like $30 for it. That's like a 1/16 of an ounce. So very little, but little drop, like a quarter drop actually goes a long way. You only need to put a quarter drop on your wrist, and it lasts for all day. It's amazing. It's amazing. So, and then I bought a bunch of other oils, Rose de Mai and Lavender Absolute. It's amazing, and 3 different types of lavender. Awesome. I bought lotus oil. What else? Cassie. I want to study that plant tonight on the internet. And all of them have medicinal value. All of them are antidepressing. And since I have quit all of my medication in 2003, I have been through a roller coaster ride of holistic healing. And I have to say, the aromatic essential oils, the 100% natural oils, that's what healed me. Probably, I would say that's what healed me the most. And then also the Vipassana meditation, the Buddhist books. But the plant oils, they're really, that's really the basis for natural healing and true healing. Natural healing is true healing. It's not intervention. It can have interventive action, but without side effects, and it will have a long-lasting effect from then on. And if we make that a lifestyle, then we're definitely going to heal. So if we take all of these aspects into account, first of all, quitting all the toxins. That's the very first step, quitting all toxins. Doesn't matter what kind of reverberation effect happens, withdrawal symptoms and agony. And I have been through withdrawal twice from the pharmaceutical, the psychopharmaceutical cocktails that I was on. It was tough. It was a tough, rocky road, but you make it through. And the second time I knew it was going to be tough again, but the second time I wasn't scared, and that's why I pulled through. It took me over half a year to get through this, the withdrawals. It was really horrible. The effects were worse than the symptoms I ever had in the beginning. So the withdrawal symptoms were so bad. They were like almost they can petrify you mentally to the point where you're so scared you can't even move anymore. You can just stare on the wall, like a permanent state of OCD, fear, depression, like completely frozen in. And that's when the brain is totally toxic. That's when when the toxins are flushing out, they will also flush through the brain, of course, because the blood is pumped everywhere, and it brings the toxins with it. And when you're detoxing, also the stuff comes out of the the fat cells and the muscle tissue and wherever it is stored. So, and then it accumulates and runs through the brain, and it is nasty. And also the body is not anymore supplied with that stuff, with that toxic stuff, and then it has withdrawal effects, and then the brain is not capable, has lost it's become lazy, it's not capable of counteracting its own endorphins against stress factors and so on. And then the whole system thinks it is being under attack because of negative thoughts. Actually, negative thoughts can set an immune response into action. It can cause all kinds of things, from high blood pressure to migraines to inflammations and so on. It's amazing the kind of stuff that can get out of alignment and out of balance. But we have to tough that out, the withdrawal, and we have to do everything we can to make it easier, like with herbal teas, lots of herbal teas in the beginning of detoxing, and a lot of fresh plant food. I recommend to people to read Dr. Schulze's 3 healing experiences that he had, and the healing testimonials from his clients. And I recommend to everybody who has the extra cash to buy his cure programs. It costs around $500 per cure program, lasts for about a month, I think. And then you also have to buy organic fruits and vegetables and juice them every day. And the best is if you have apple trees and juice them every day. But you can also do it without his expensive tinctures and stuff, because his stuff is quite expensive, but it is worth every penny of it, because it's the purest you can find anywhere on earth. The purest herbal products there are on the planet. And I am probably gonna buy the superfood again. So it runs out fast. Superfood comes in powder and also in tablets, and it's this pure nutrition. It's pure plant nutrition. It's nothing chemical in it. So when you buy all kinds of like isolated plant essences, like for example Q enzyme, or whatever that's called, enzyme Q10 or something, which is good, but in isolated form I don't think it is that good of. It's not that good to take these isolated substances or B vitamins. It is better if you take it in form of the whole plant, and the whole plant untreated, unheated if possible, just dried and pulverized maybe, and made into a superfood powder or tablets. That's the best. But even better is just to eat all of these plants fresh. So if you can, papaya, anything you can get, you can find, that is very, very important. And a lot of spinach and a lot of lettuce. All of this stuff is amazing. But these plant essences, they're really, really amazing. I also got ylang ylang, different types from Madagascar, and one from another place, I think South America somewhere. And they also grow ylang ylang in the Philippine Islands, and my dream has always been to go to the Philippine Islands one day. A lot of people from there are moving out. They want to get away because it is affected by global warming the worst. That it's like a coral reef, quite a flat land, and the sea level is rising and it is flooding the Philippine Islands over, and and they're losing their land, and they're having the most severe storms there now because of the climate shift. They're the most affected from all places on planet Earth, which is very sad because the Philippine Islands to me represents paradise. That's like the ultimate paradise. Nothing is as incredibly gorgeous as that. That is really the most gorgeous, like a light pink coral sand that is as soft as flour, or softer even than flour, than if you walk on flour. Like a real soft white bread flour, you know, that's how it feels under your feet. It's unbelievable. It's just, it really is, it's a different realm. And I want to go there one day. I've been in Kenya several times. They have the same coral sand, which is gorgeous, but Kenya is becoming very dangerous now, and I don't recommend to people to go there. Very, very dangerous. Whole Africa has become very, 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 very dangerous. It's a war zone. And same with the Middle East, of course, and Afghanistan, and a lot of places in India that are very dangerous. Then I heard a lot of places in South America that are very dangerous too, but even in the Philippines. So there are war zone places there too, in this beautiful paradise. And people, they can't appreciate the ylang ylang trees, and instead they have to chop their heads off. ISIS is going everywhere, chopping people's heads off, instead of understanding what life is really all about, the true meaning of life, you know. To go to a plant and smell that plant, or a flower, and to smell that realm of beauty and paradise, and understand that this is the meaning of life, not to serve a bloodthirsty God that they made up, or someone else made up. This is this incredible, insane belief system, or there are many insane belief systems, but the Islam is probably the most violent belief system there is, and I recommend to everybody, get out of it, break out of it, get out of it, get out of there safely, get out and meditate. The meditation doesn't have to be based in religion. It can be based on a practice like the one from S.N. Goenka. Get to the core of the meaning of life. The meaning of life is no longer agitation. It's no longer with one foot in the future. Planning is good. Planning is very joyful, because planning can be enjoyed in the present moment very much. Planning without a frenzy, you know, without I have to get there, I have to cling, you know. Attachment to some kind of outcome that will get you nowhere. So that we need to get away from. We need to get away from converting other people. We need to get away from fear of gods. There are no gods that are dangerous. That's in people's imagination. You know? The meaning of life is living joy, and true joy is altruism. Not throwing yourself away, not slave morality. Altruism in a positive, gentle, and joyful form. Giving and joy. When giving is joyful, you know, that's true joy. When we can all love one another, hold hands, give each other hand and foot massages, and share our food and our love. All beings, with all Earthians, not just humans. With all, we're all related. Every one of us is related. Huh? We all have common ancestors. Every single being, including my little avocado tree there. We all have common ancestors. Yeah, the avocado tree and I have a common ancestor. That was one of the first microbes. Yeah. So that's why I'm saying we need to really, we're all one. We're all in this together here. Let's make it nice for one another. Let's get to the core of what the meaning of life really is. It's not butchering someone else. It's not butchering someone with words either on the internet. It's not snapping at someone. That's not the meaning of life. The meaning of life is taking a deep breath and listening to one another, really listening. And when the ego arises, let the ego arise in silence. Don't roll the red carpet out to the ego. Don't give him your attention. Let him do his blabbing in the back of your head. Let him do his anger, whatever, accusations. And don't give in to it. Don't listen to it. Listen to true love only. True love is when, for example, when I see someone like Scarlett Johansson, the love of Jonathan Mese, and I find her very beautiful. Everybody finds her very beautiful. What an amazing face and body, everything. And then my ego comes up, and then as soon as I see something about her that I find her cold, and then my ego will latch onto this right away and say, yeah, well, she's just cold, and then I go, I don't let the ego get away with it, and then I say, she's a beautiful woman, and she has joy, and she is desired, and she has everything she wants. More than any other woman on earth, maybe. And that's wonderful. I'm very happy for her. Jealousy comes up. I ignore it. Yeah, it's just jealousy. It's just my jealousy. Okay. Laugh it off. Let her have that joy. I want her to have that joy. I want her to be happy. I don't know if she really is happy. That's another question altogether. She's kind of cold, but maybe that's just it just somehow looks like it. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know her, so I don't personally don't want to be friends with cold people. I have to protect myself. I'm very sensitive, but she may not be cold. Maybe it's just some kind of facade or something. I don't know. But she's beautiful and she has everything she wants, at least on the outside looks like, So, and that's wonderful, and I'm enjoying that for her. I think it's gorgeous. Let her have that. It has nothing to do with my life. Okay? It doesn't take anything away from me. So let's rejoice for someone else. So it's just one of many examples, or when somebody has a grudge against someone, and they see them make better videos than they do. And then jealousy comes up. Ignore the jealousy. Say it's just jealousy. I'm happy for that person. I'm happy that he's a better filmmaker than I am. I'm happy for him. Let him have success. Or when somebody is a better speaker, let them be a better speaker. That's good. If we are losers, or if we consider ourselves to be losers, first of all, if somebody else says to you, "You're a loser," that should be right away ignored, because nobody who is kind would ever say something like this to someone else. So right away, that's not a kind person who will say that, right? So it doesn't matter what he thinks then. That's not the people we want to hang out with. don't even want to model ourselves after. We don't even want to watch their videos. We don't even want to hear what they have to say, because they have nothing to contribute. So we go to the people who are kind-hearted, and we model ourselves after the people who have success in various areas in life, and we watch them and we see how are they doing it, and then we can learn little by little. It's been a very, very difficult journey for me. It still is very difficult journey. Last night I had another dream, a very typical dream of a guy who I met in a group, among a group of people. It was kind of chaotic. There were lots of tour buses, and there was this guy coming out of the tour bus, around 30 years old, really, really overweight, blondish, short hair, and he was very angry, and I had met him before, and I was just being myself, and first he was very nice and charming and was flirting with me, and then all of a sudden I said something innocently wrong. This something ticked him off, and he shut down, he walked away, and then next time when I saw him come out of the bus, I said, "Hi, naive," and all of this, and he looked at me, and his mouth became very hardened, and he turned around and he walked away. And then I saw him again. While I was leaning against a cement wall, and he was there on some kind of counter. He was doing some kind of mathematical work, and then he looked up at me with a real hostile look, and he said, "I can't do this mathematical work when you're standing there." And I said, "Why? What did I do to you?" And then he said, he had this look that was like a facial expression that went like it went flickering back and forth like a light switch, almost like between like this, and but more subtle. I've seen it many times, like a back and forth between terrible hatred and lust. Okay, and back and forth. It's an old pain for me, and comes from my childhood, definitely. And I've seen it many times in men, and particularly fat men. And in fat men, I've seen that a lot. Fat men around 30, and particularly Republicans. And this is not a put down. This is just my personal experience, and I'm saying this because maybe it's important to point this out so that we can look at the problem, not run away from it, and maybe figure out what causes this hatred. And then he said to me, "You are disgusting and a disgrace." That's what he said to me. And then I got mad in the dream, and I did what I don't do consciously. What I consciously decided not to do is to throw the hate back. So I got mad, I threw the hatred back, and that's what I don't want to do. When somebody says something, an accusation against me on the internet, like if it is like an accusation against my way of approaching the world, then I will say, well, I'll show you the mirror, because I see that same approach, and you're projecting this out, right? I can say that, but that's just an accurate observation. I don't throw back insults, because insults are weapons, and I don't want to work with weapons anymore. I made a conscious decision about this. But in my dream, I was so overwhelmed that hatred that was thrown against me, that I fell back into the verbal violence. And then I woke up. I woke up saying, my consciousness, it was very interesting. So my consciousness, my awareness of that's what I learned from the Buddhists. It forced its way through while I was throwing the insults back at him. And as it was forcing itself through and saying, Nicola, you learned better than that. And as this was coming up, I was also starting to wake up in that moment. And as I was waking up, I heard myself say, really say it out loud. I said, I am a good person. I am a kind, good person, and I do not deserve to be hated like this. And that's when I woke up, with that sentence. And it's also a very powerful affirmation, and I advise everybody to make those affirmations every day. Because these affirmations, even if they sound fake in the beginning, they will have a positive effect on us. It is the way we word ourselves, how we will also reshape the future of humanity. I know now what the feelings are in somebody who throws insults and extreme hatred at me. It comes from the ego. The ego has been hurt and he wants to strike back. And a lot of men, they want to, it's a very old school way of looking at the world. Like, they see the world still in their grandfather's ways. They want to see the woman, under them. And when they see the woman is not under them, there's a woman that is definitely not under them intellectually, then the ego will raise its really monstrous head and it will completely lose and snap and bypass the prefrontal cortex. And if they could, they would kill me. If they were there and they saw me in real person, they would kill me. If they could get away with it somehow, But in a supermarket, people are, and I don't talk to people in the supermarket, so I stay away from people, and I also avoid looking at them. If I see people, I look away right away. The best is if I can hide behind my sunglasses or my thick men's eyeglasses. So that's what I like to do, and then I like to look. The best would be if I had some like mirror glasses in front of that. That'd be the absolute best. Then they don't see that I have ever even glanced at them for a split second. And if I glance at people, it's just to orient myself around the store so that I don't bump into someone. But a lot of people, they will misconstruct it as criticism because I'm not happy, and then they will misinterpret it as a criticism against them, and the ego will come right away with. And in most people, I see that in most people, particularly in men, it is very intense. So I become more and more withdrawn in that way, and I become more and more fearful of communication with others, and just one extra word can also set people off. And so I only spend time with people who I know I can trust 100%, who are grounded within themselves. And the reason why I make the videos is to help other people get grounded. To help other people, we need to point out the problems first. If we don't point out the problems, how can we fix it? We have to look at it. We have to see, I snapped here. Why did I do this? Let me look within, How can I prevent this in the future? How can I become more kind and gentle, and more reflective about things, and see the other person for who they are, that they're not there to mock me. They just happened to say something that triggered my ego, that's all. They didn't mean to. So we need to learn that the other people are not a threat. So anyone, everyone around the globe, women and men, particularly men suffer under this. There's a lot, because of all that shaming from the past, all the shaming from the parents. Some shaming is done more directly, more consciously, more willingly, more deliberately, and some shaming has been done through just the neurosis of the parents itself, like unwillingly, unknowingly, subconsciously. So that was the case with my parents. They were very subconscious about things, and they had their shame, then they carried it on to us, and then we started to believe things, but inside of my head I always knew, wait a minute, it doesn't sound right, really. Why should I? I started questioning things very early on. And my grandfather, he was the bully. He was deliberately trying to hurt me, and he picked me from everyone because I was the girl, and he didn't like girls, and he also picked on my two cousins. But we hung around there the most. My parents, they had like a separate house that was connected to my grandfather's house. They built that out in the 70s. So we stayed there a lot, and I had a lot of contact to him because of this, and he bullied me real bad. It was very painful. And that's where a lot of pain comes from. And so, but it doesn't matter, and shame and all of this, we have to work on it. We have to go within, no matter how harsh the truth can look us in the eyes, but we have to confront it. We have to confront ourselves with it. We have to look into the eyes of truth. This is very, very important. That's the only path to finding ourselves at all, and to make peace with ourselves and everyone in the past. They were all victims. Okay, they were all victims, and each brain is different. We all have different coping mechanisms and abilities, and also different abilities of becoming conscious about things. Some people, they might never become conscious their whole lifetimes. Most people, I would say, when you see people in geriatric places, on their deathbeds, they're not conscious, and because of that, they also cling to life. They don't want to let go because they've never been made conscious, and then their lives become so gruesome and so agonizing and so much suffering. I don't want to go there when I get old. I want to, when I'm old, my goal is to, like Barbara Walters, is a role model for me, and like, what's that other lady, that Lucia Ball, and Liz Taylor, and who else? That egg lady, I forgot the first name. And Edie, the egg lady, I think, was famous in the 50s. A friend of mine introduced me to that on Facebook and YouTube. I thought it's cool, and what an amazing Dadaistic artist. Not understood, of course, only understood by a few. And but those are the ones, who I role model myself from. And when I get old, I want to have money, and I want to have abundance, and I want to have a lot of love and giving, and I want to laugh about myself every day, at least for 5 hours straight. And I want to have wrinkles, and I want to be fat, and I want to be goofy, and I want to be like a cartoon, and I want to make others feel happy, and I want to eat a lot, and I want to die being shot in the forehead while I eat. And laugh. While I laugh and laugh and laugh and laugh, and then poof, done. That's my wish for the future. And if I'm, not everybody's shot, but I just basically wish for becoming aware and accepting yourself the way you are, and then dying is not horrible. You don't cling anymore to anything. You're just letting the flow the way it flows. So that's what I wish for everybody. Take care.